Hello. As mentioned in the previous video, we broke this up into two parts. This is the front sloper or pattern block, whichever you call it. I am going to have a link below to the previous video, actually to all of the previous videos in this series, as well as there's going to be a link to a blog post over on Patreon, and as I've mentioned, it's free. You don't have to sign up to my Patreon to get it. Patreon is coming soon, it's just not ready. Anyway, but those will be, anyone can access those posts. As I'd also mentioned in the previous video, it's more detail, more information that you may or may not need, as well as some close-ups. Let's get that front sloper made. So we're going to have the template with the long edge facing us and the right edge against the right side there. So we are going to, now we're doing the front part. This is the front part. We're going to make a dot at neck measurement. So that's right here. I'm going to label that dot 1. So the next step if you have a bust measurement of 42, you're going to mark B arrow. If you have a bust of 43 and over, you're going to put a mark at C arrow. In my case, I'm doing C. Right, yeah, right there. And we are going to number this as dot B. Okay, hopefully that hasn't moved. And then you're going to mark dot A arrow, which is up here. Oops. Okay, we're going to mark that. You're going to mark the shoulder measurement. And you're going to mark the bust measurement. Okay, and then you are going to next, oh, sorry, I should mark those. Dot A and dot 2. Next, you're going to draw a dotted line from dot 1 to dot C. I just do like a dashes. Work for me. So in case of dot C, the line must continue 1.5 inches longer. I'm just gonna measure 1.5 inches longer. If you're gonna do a dress, you're gonna then draw a straight line to the required dress length. This is considered the front center line, but in our case, we're not doing that. We're not doing a dress, so we're gonna just leave that as is. I'm just gonna put another dot here just so I know it's the end of the line. And then you're gonna draw a dotted shoulder line from dot A to dot 2. Because these lines are gonna change. Okay, and also you might just even want to note that this is the front center line. just so you have that reference. It just helps you later. Then you're going to draw, so for, okay, again, these are different bust things. For bust 40 and over, make a dot to the left of dot 2. You'd make a dot to the left of this at a 1/2 inch. And this is going to be for the when we do the darts. I'm going to show you here. This is also in the diagram. So, just kind of line this up as best I can here. Okay, so I'm going to go 1/2 inch. For the neck curve, place arrow F on dot 1 and make a dotted line around to curve A. Okay, so I'm going to line up dot F here. Stuff in the way, of course. That's the problem when you're trying to work in a small space. All right, dot F. Hopefully you can see this. It's a dot A, get you to line up. There we go. And then I'm just going to draw that line all the way around. It was supposed to be a dotted line. Oops. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to use my marker and make a dotted line, because erasing on Bristol board is not, oops, easy at all. There we go. We have a dotted line now. Okay, next we're going to do the armhole curve. Now, there's 2 sets of measurements again. So for bust 24 to 42, you're going to use the back chart. And with the long straight edge to your left, for measurements 24 inches to 42, you're going to turn the chart over to the back. And the long edge to your left, my left, place to dot 3 the armhole arrow corresponding to the bust measurement required, and then you're going to draw a dotted line from 3 to 2. So along here, there is bust measurements. So there's 24 to 26, 28 to 32, 34 to 36, 38 to 42, and 43 to 48. So we're using this. If you're doing anything from 24 to 42, you'd use this, and then for 43 to 48, you'd use this one here. So for sizes 43 to 48, you're going to line this up, and you're going to, from dot 2, and you're going to draw all the way down to where it says broad, and you're going to stop there. Then, ignore my old line here, I made a mistake. I'll do. It happens. So in this case, you're going to take the front template. Hopefully I have enough room here. Let's turn this a little bit. Okay. I'm going to use the marker because I'm just moving stuff here. Things are going to fall on the floor. Hopefully you can still see that. Yeah. Okay, so then you're going to take the front piece where the broad arrow is on this one. I'm going to start back at that piece. And you're going to continue the line to the dot. Okay, try that again. A little bit off. Okay, there we go, that's better. Alright, that's your new line. Put this back. Which is the outside line, ignore the inside line. Okay, so that is for that. And then for all measurements, still keeping the chart in the same position, which I've already moved it because there's no room here. Put it back. For all measurements, still keeping the chart in the same position, measure 3/8 of an inch in front of broad arrow in the direction of the arrow, the way the arrow is pointing. And this is where an additional ruler is going to come in handy because I can't measure with this, although I could use the other template actually. That would make sense. So what it wants you to do is measure 3/8 of an inch in front of this. So that would be to here, and make a dot. Okay? Then place the broad arrow to this dot and draw the curve to end of shoulder line. So we're going to grab the back piece again, and then we're going to go to the new line, and we're going to draw a new line. Sorry, I'm just freehanding. So I know that's where I'm gonna set the straight this line. But hello. Okay, so I did. This looks slightly different because I did redraw it. It was messy. It was just too messy. I hated it. So I redrew up to the point where we finished. Now at this point, because again we're doing a bodice, what we're going to do is draw the lines here up into, again, 7 inches from, or whatever your personal measurement is, from the bottom of your armhole to your natural waist. So let's just draw a line there. And then we're going to draw another line across here. And then where this dotted line ended, we're just going to continue that line. Okay. So that is what the front should look like so far. Now the only thing that's going to be different now is we are going to now move to the drawing again. And with the drawing we're going to do the dart. There's a bit of a raised shoulder. And there's going to be a few steps here to do the dart. And basically, once we get the dart done, oh, sorry, and we have one more drawing to do, which is the coming in. We're going to come in about 1 inch here. So we're going to do those steps, and then the front piece will be done. to do the dart is we've got dot A over here. We have to go out 1 1/4 inches that way. Inches that way, and then we're going to just draw that line, and then using F again, oh sorry, and then we have one more measurement, my apologies, from dot 1 we have to go out 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to draw a line out for 3/4 of an inch. And then like we did before, using the front piece, we are going to put arrow F at the new dot 1. Okay. And then we're going to match it up with the new dot A. Oops, that's not quite lined up. Let me get that lined up. There we go. And then we're going to draw the new neckline. So that is there. And then we have a new center front line that we're going to draw from the new dot 1 all the way down to the waistline. So we have that now. This is the new center front. Then we're going to fix the underarm length from the underarm down to the dot 5. And actually I kind of jumped the gun here. I did, when I was redrawing this, I may have actually gone ahead a step. So what you're going to do is, this is going to be the new line. The old line is going to be 1 inch out. Yeah, there's a 1 inch difference. So the old line would have started out here. So I'll do a dotted line for the old line. So this is a bit backwards, I apologize. So that was the old line, and then what you would do from this line, you would then go in 1 inch and draw your new line. So this solid line is the new line. So my apologies, I did jump ahead a little bit there. And two final things. We got to do the dart. But the waistline, again, we're not straight across. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down from dot 5 over to here. You're going to go down 1/2 inch. And you're going to draw a new line there. And I'm going to use the marker so it shows what the new line is. Okay, that is the new line for your waistline. Then the final thing is going to be the raised shoulder and the dart. Okay, so right now, so this here is, originally there was a dotted line here. There was a dot, original dot 2 was here. And we went out an inch. I think it was an inch that we went out to create the new line for the armsicle. So what we're going to do now is create the dart. Okay, so according to the diagram, from the new dot 2, you're going to measure down 6 inches. And place a dot. Then from that dot, you're going to measure in 2 3/4 inches. And put a dot. And that's going to be the bottom of your dart. Then from new dot 2, you're going to measure in 2 1/2 inches. New dot 2 is here. And then from that dot, you're going to measure over 1 1/2 inches. This is now your dart. And the reason we're putting a dart here is there are a lot of garments that use, in the Haslam systems, a lot of them will have additional darts. And then now there is a bit of a raised shoulder. So from this line here, right here, which is the left side of the top of the darts, you're going to measure up 3/8 of an inch. Actually, it's easier to do it from the back ruler has the smaller increment on one part of it. There we go, 3/8. And then you're going to draw from that dot down, and then just finish off that line. And this raised shoulder will make sense when you are doing other patterns. It'll come into play. And even when you do a 12 for this itself, I would still do this dart and you'll see fitting. Because right now, when you look at this, right, that's really wide. And what you're going to do in most cases with your block is that dart is going to get closed up. Because right now that's a really wide shoulder. But I'll tell you, when you go to do sewing, it's not going to be that wide. And if you compare it to, this is the back. So you see how much of a difference there is? The difference is basically that dart. I mean, what you can do if you want, you can take your piece one step further and you could redraw this, like cut the dart out, close it up, right? And then redraw this piece so you don't have to bother with that. But personally I wouldn't, because it will come into play as you are drafting other pattern pieces. And I'm just going to look one more time at the drawing, and yeah, we have covered everything. We now have, I'm just going to write on here, foundation front. Foundation front. So you now have foundation front, and sorry for the reaching across here, and you now have foundation back. And we're going to use both of these pieces going forward to make our pattern pieces for our final project. What I highly recommend is that you take a marker and draw your final lines so you don't get confused. And that way you know exactly, and also fill in dot A, dot B, all that, because you are going to have to use this information when you're drafting your pattern pieces later. And we now have our basic pattern block pieces. So yeah, I'm going to cut these out. I suggest you do the same because it's going to be too hard to work off of the Bristol board as is. And the next thing that we're going to be doing is creating pattern pieces. So here's the sticky point though. If you're following along and doing the pattern that I'm doing, you're going to get a step-by-step tutorial on how to create those pattern pieces. If you are doing your own pattern from one of your own books, you will have to follow those instructions. If you have questions, please message me, and if I, have the same pattern as you, I can take a look at it and help you if you're stuck. Or I can look at the draft, the drawing illustration draft, and help you if you need that help. Anyway, so that's it for these pieces. Next, we'll be moving on to pattern pieces.